Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we will talk about Be Ready All Enemy. Royal Navy wants to refit its carriers with catapults. Before watching the video, please like, comment, and subscribe my channel. The UK Royal Navy has revealed details of its intention to fit its two aircraft carriers with assisted launch systems and recovery gear, enabling operations by a variety of fixed-wing uncrewed aircraft and potentially also conventional takeoff and landing crew types. Ambitious in its scope, it's unclear exactly how much of the program will be fiscally feasible. Currently, the Royal Navy's Queen Elizabeth-class carriers are able to operate short takeoff and vertical landing (STOVL) F-35B stealth jets, as well as helicopters. There have been previous indications that the service wants to at least explore adding different drones to its future carrier air wing. The Royal Navy has now also decided that it will kick off this project with tests of the General Atomics Mojave Short Takeoff and Landing (STOL) drone on one of its two carriers later this year. The latest Royal Navy carrier developments were announced by the Colonel Phil Kelly, the service's head of Carrier Strike and Maritime Aviation, at the recent Combined Naval Event 2023 conference, and was reported by Naval News. Colonel Kelly confirmed that under the Future Maritime Aviation Force (FMAF) initiative, the Royal Navy is planning to retrofit arrestor gear and assisted launch equipment on its carriers. As currently equipped, the Queen Elizabeth-class warships have ski jump takeoff ramps for their STOVL F-35Bs. An earlier idea of installing catapults and arrestor gear during the two carriers' construction and procuring F-35C variants to equip them was turned down on cost grounds, after which the two STOVL configured carriers were finished and put into service. The new FMAF plan includes Project Ark Royal, which Colonel Kelly explained as follows. We are looking to move from STOVL to STOL of short takeoff and landing, then to STOBAR, short takeoff, but arrested recovery, and then to CATOBAR, catapult assisted takeoff, but arrested recovery. We are looking at a demonstrable progression that spreads out the financial cost and incrementally improves capability. In this way, Project Ark Royal, named after the Royal Navy's last aircraft carrier that was capable of CATOBAR operations, should see the Queen Elizabeth-class vessels start to operate drones able to undertake a variety of missions and then increasingly heavier, complex, and higher performance ones. Later on, full CATOBAR capability could also add fixed-wing crewed aircraft. Colonel Kelly confirmed that the first part of Project Ark Royal this November will see a Mojave drone launch from a Royal Navy carrier off the U.S. East Coast. As the Mojave already offers impressive STOL capabilities, no launch and recovery systems will be needed at this point. Colonel Kelly explained that the Mojave is able to take off in 300 feet, which is easily already available with the Queen Elizabeth class. However, he did add that design work had been completed for modifications that would extend the carrier's usable runway for drones to 700 feet, which would include adding sponsons to the ships. Under a $1.9 million contract, General Atomics will use its Mojave to demonstrate a threshold capability for a short takeoff and landing uncrewed air vehicle aboard the HMS Prince of Wales aircraft carrier. Once the STOL concept is proven out with the Mojave, the Royal Navy intends to add some kind of recovery system to the Queen Elizabeth design, allowing operations by larger fixed-wing drones. Uncrewed aircraft in this category are an aspiration that the Royal Navy is already working toward under Project Vixen. Ultimately, the Queen Elizabeth-class design would be reworked with catapult launch gear, allowing the warships to operate the heaviest aircraft you can imagine. In the words of Colonel Kelly, that would include larger high-performance drones, but potentially also crewed fixed-wing aircraft, which would be a very significant development for the Queen Elizabeth class. As it stands, the carriers are unable to operate fixed-wing airborne early warning aircraft or airborne tankers, putting limits on their offensive operations. In the future, these functions could potentially be taken on by a catapult-launched fixed-wing aircraft, whether crewed or uncrewed. According to Naval News, the Royal Navy is already exploring different catapult launch systems, with options including the U.S.-developed Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System, EMALS, the introduction of which has been far from trouble-free, as well as the UK-developed Electromagnetic Kinetic Induction Technology Demonstrator. Finding room for complex launch and recovery systems, as well as fielding the manpower to maintain and operate them, will be a challenge no matter how much extra space the vessels have to accommodate them. Back in 2021, the UK Ministry of Defence put out a Request for Information, RFI, for aircraft launch and recovery equipment. This RFI called for information on assisted launch and arrested recovery options for a range of air vehicles, which would be suitable to fit a vessel within 3 to 5 years as part of the future maritime aviation force. As we have examined in the past, however, the launch and recovery systems required for non-STOVL operations are just one part of a much larger puzzle. The Royal Navy will also need to develop control stations, data links, unique procedures, and much more to ensure the drones can be safely and effectively integrated within the carrier air group, for example. The lack of an angled landing area used to enable simultaneous launch and recovery operations is another issue, although the Queen Elizabeth class has a lot of width to its deck space that may be able to be adapted to accommodate this, at least to some degree. The existing takeoff ramps, tailored for the STOVL F-35B, may also need some kind of reworking to make them suitable for catapult launch of drones or even manned aircraft.